to Punky's World. Please excuse the horrible cough. I thought, since Bray Wyatt's return, this would be a good time to talk about wrestling families. Because there are so many. Some of them large wrestling, almost dynasties. That I thought it would be interesting to talk about them. The Samoans. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a picture of each of the wrestling families as I talk to them to, well, my right, when you're looking, when you're looking at the camera, it's on my right. I think that's where it is when you're looking at the TV too. So let me grab a pen and paper. Okay. Oh, that. Alrighty. The Samoans. The Anoa'i family. First ones were Afa and Sika. So I'm going to get a picture of Afa and Sika. They were called the Wild Samoans. And just about every other Samoan wrestler that's come down the pike has been related to them in one way or another. Roman Reigns, the Usos, Rikishi, Yokozuna, Umanga, trying to think, there are more. There were the Samoan headhunters who were a different team, but also the headhunters. But they were another Samoan team that was part of that family. So that's two more. The Rock, The Rock's mom, The Rock's grandfather. It's like 11 of them. So just, they were very much a dynasty. Oh, gross. Sorry. Better out than in, as my father always said. That's the most I've gotten up. As I was saying before my lungs so rudely interrupted us, that freaking hurt, by the way. The Samoans are really a dynasty. Anyway, I am so sorry. Afa and Sika, like I said, were the first of their group, although they were all related. You literally have to have a genealogy to put them all pieces together, how everyone was related. So, you could do that. I know that Roman Reigns is one of their sons. I want to say Sika, but I'm not sure. I think the Usos are Rikishi's kids, and Rikishi is somehow related. The only Samoan wrestler I know of, big time Samoan star that I'm aware of, in the business that is not related to the NOI family in any way is Samoa Joe. So, um, so I don't know the specific relationships. I just know that Appa and Sika were successful tag team champions. Roman Reigns has been a world heavyweight champion forever and several times. The Usos have been tag team champions multiple times. I think Rikishi was Intercontinental champion. Umaga might have been too. And it's interesting how their characters morphed over the years from the Wild Samoans to Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. You know what I mean? So. Next family that I'm going to talk about is the Rhodes-Runnels family. And I say Rhodes-Runnels because that's Dusty's real last name. Dusty was his nickname growing up. His name is Virgil. I think I'd rather be called Dusty too if my name were Virgil. But anyway. And a little side note about that. The character Virgil was a kick to Dusty because he was the head booker in World Class at the time. Not World Class. In Crockett Promotions, NWA at the time. So it was a hit on Dusty. And then, so when they brought Virgil into WCW as a hit on Vince McMahon, they called him VK Wall Street. Or VK something. Thought it was Wall Street. Mike Rotundo was Michael Wall Street. But you had Dusty, Dustin, and Cody. Now there were rumors Dakota might wrestle. I doubt that. I doubt her mother would want that. I mean, Dakota's all grown up, but I don't even think her father would really want that. That's Dustin's daughter. So Dusty was a world heavyweight champion on 3 occasions. Dustin's never been a world champion. Been a United States champion, been a multi-time tag team champion. I think he was Intercontinental champion as Goldust. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he was. Dusty has been a U.S. champion, a tag team champion. I think he's held pretty much all the titles that Crockett Promotions and the NWA had to offer. He was a TV champion. The only thing he wasn't was a Western States Heritage champion, and they didn't have that at that time. Cody has been a world champion. In Ring of Honor, he's been a champion in Japan. WWE, he was an Intercontinental champion multiple times, tag team champion. So very successful. The next family we're going to talk about is the Wyndham Rotunda family. Again, it's 2 families that combined. Because, as I mentioned to you in a previous video, Barry Windham's sister married Mike Rotunda, and they had 3 children, 2 of which wrestled as Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas. Bray Wyatt's name is Wyndham Rotunda, but it's spelled W-Y-N-D-H-A-M instead of W-I-N-D-H-A-M. So he got his mom's maiden name as a first name. And of course, her father was a wrestler, Blackjack Mulligan, who teamed with Blackjack Lanza in the AWA, the NWA. I think they appeared in the World Wrestling Federation as well. In fact, Blackjack Lanza, I don't remember if Mulligan did or not, transitioned to a producer role or road agent role in WWE, later WWF at that time. Barry Windham, of course, is multiple champion. Mike Rotunda, also a multiple champion. Mike Rotunda also has had backstage roles in several organizations. I think he's working with AEW now. If I'm not mistaken. I said his name was Rotundo. It's Rotunda with an A. Like the place, a rotunda. Because they've spelled it both ways in wrestling, and it's hard to remember which way is the right way. You know, in real life. So, and he was also known as a great amateur athlete. Bray Wyatt is an amazing athlete, especially for his size. He's a big kid. Bo Dallas, I didn't see much of. Trying to think. I feel like I'm missing. Oh, Kendall Windham, Barry's brother, was also a wrestler. He wasn't very successful. He never really stepped out of the shadows of his brother and father. His brother was even a horseman at one time. I'm going to sneeze. I thought I was going to sneeze. This is not easy, guys. And he just kind of left. Although I guess him and his father got into some big trouble and both went to jail for a very long time. Something about counterfeiting and stuff. I read it. I do want to do a wrestling video with some of my books, some of the inside stories that I have in some of my books. I think that'll be fun. Especially if you're a wrestling fan. But yeah, that was quite shocking when that happened, when they went to jail. But the family's legacy in the business continues on. And it's interesting to note that Barry and Kendall both chose to wrestle under their real last name and not as Mulligan. So I think it was a good call in the sense that it allowed Barry, even though everybody knew who his dad was, it sort of allowed him to step out of that shadow and become his own wrestler. So it's not a bad thing. Um, the next one, obviously, the Von Erichs. Um, the Von Erichs, as you well know, had so much tragedy around them. It was very unfortunate, the things that happened. And I personally think that those boys were pushed too hard. It's my own personal opinion, and people can say what they want because everyone has a right to their own personal opinion. Mine is that they were pushed too hard. Their dad was a wrestler, and I think they wanted to be wrestlers because he was, but I think he pushed them. Their mother came to that conclusion later on as well. Ugh. Kevin denies it up and down, and that's fine. It's just opinion. There's nothing to confirm or deny because it's just people's opinion, including my own. So, Kerry was the only world champion. And he was only world champion because David died. David was supposed to become world champion. And I think they chose Kerry because he was the most popular, even though Kevin was probably better suited to it. Could have better handled it. Again, these are my opinions about the world championship and stuff. These are my opinions. Not about David. That's a fact. Didn't quite come up. So, yeah, that was not good. Unfortunately, they all died except for Kevin. And we've been through that in a previous video. I won't go through it again. But it's funny, the people, according to everything I've heard and read, lost interest in the Von Erichs after the Lance Von Erich debacle, where they had to admit he wasn't really a member of the family. And the people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area were horrified that the Von Erichs would lie to them. Okay, they've been lying to you from the beginning about a lot of things. This squeaky clean image was baloney. Their name was not Von Erich, which in wrestling is forgivable. But their squeaky clean image was baloney. So, yeah, I think that was there have been lots of second-generation wrestlers and third-generation wrestlers. Orton, that's another one. Both Bob Orton and his brother. His brother did not wrestle as Orton. His name was Barry Orton, but he didn't wrestle as Orton. He wrestled as Barry O. Their father, Bob Sr., wrestled. And of course, the most successful of the bunch Bob Jr.'s son, Randy, is multiple-time world champion, world tag team champion, just and phenomenal. Phenomenally gifted. When he first started, I remember thinking, this kid's taking a pounding. He's taking he's paying his dues, you know? And I just thought that was great. Because so many second generation guys and third generation guys just do not pay their dues. The Rock's daughter is training to come in as the first fourth generation wrestler, and she's again the NOI family. So yeah, it's crazy. AEW has some second generation guys, like both of Billy Gunn's kids. I know both of I keep thinking Bubba Ray, but it's his partner. Devon's kids wrestle. Both of I forgot mentioning Devon Eric's. Both of Kevin's kids, his two sons, Marshall and Ross, wrestle. They've actually shown up in Impact Wrestling. They are great. But yeah, as far as the Ortons go, I don't know what titles Bob held. I know he held some along the way. He was never a world champion or anything like that, but he was Roddy Piper, and he was a huge star. So, and he has a son and a daughter wrestling now. So, they're becoming a wrestling dynasty. Ted DiBiase's son wrestles, but that's not really a dynasty. It's just one. Well, actually, he's a third generation, so it is, because Ted DiBiase's dad, Iron Mike DiBiase, wrestled. Ted DiBiase wrestled. Ted DiBiase's mother wrestled, and now Ted DiBiase's son wrestled, but he retired and took a normal job to focus on his faith and his family. Actually, I think two of his sons wrestled, so we'll do DiBiase. 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 There we go. Arn Anderson's son is now wrestling in AEW, and you know what's interesting? I was watching that kid, and it was like watching Arn. It was crazy. First of all, he looks just like him 30 years ago, but sorry, Arn. Ow. And he wrestles a lot like him. Just his natural movements, you know? Like, he does that backbreaker that Arn was known for. Spinebuster. And you'd swear you were looking at Arn. I was dumbfounded. Blanchard is another one. Joe Blanchard, I believe, wrestled, and he was a promoter in Texas. His son, Tully, wrestled. And Tully's daughter, Tessa, wrestles. She is a phenomenal wrestler. She's an Impact. So, We won't be getting her over in AEW unless we make her a really sweet offer when her contract comes up. I say we because I'm sort of emotionally invested in AEW, but yeah. Tully was a phenomenal wrestler. One of the best. Slingshot suplex was awesome. He suplexed the guy who would bounce their legs off the top rope when he suplexed them. It was called a slingshot suplex. And he would, but he was phenomenal. Dusty Rhodes called him the Wombat. I guess because of the way he was built. I don't know. Tully had issues with drugs. Tully got clean and sober. And Tully is an ordained minister now. He's the athletic director for his church, where he helps with their softball team and stuff like that. The last that I knew, he makes sporadic wrestling appearances. Just like in AEW, he has a team that he manages. And I'm sure he works behind the scenes quite a bit. And that may be what's keeping Tessa from going there, is that her dad is there. That's just a speculation on my part. Because I guess she was actually raised by Magnum TA, who Tully's wife married and took their kids to. That he raised them. That they had two more of their own. So, I guess he raised Tully's kids. In some respect. So yeah. If you can think of any other wrestling dynasties, put them in the comments. And meanwhile, I'm going to get pictures of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that we've talked about. Some of them I'll be able to get a picture of them all together, but not all of them. So like Afa and Sika, I'll just do a picture of Afa and Sika. The Rhodes, I may be able to get a picture of all three. Wyndham Rotunda, I'm not going to be able to get a picture of them all. So I'll find a picture of like Barry and his dad or something to represent them. The Von Erichs, I should be able to find a picture of the whole group. The Ortons, I should be able to find Bob and Randy. The DiBiase's, I should be able to find Ted and Ted Jr. Blanchard, I'm not going to be able to find. I might be able to find Joe and Tully. So that's the plan for this video. The first video is in production. The video we did last night. So we have a genealogy video. And we have our outdoors video, which I think we're going to do the outdoors one next. I want to show you the fall foliage, tell you an interesting story about the trees and sugar. So that's what I think we're going to do. So I hope you'll join me for that. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry for all the coughing and blowing my nose. I will see you next time. Please click that subscribe button. Please like my videos. I'm doing these sick. Please hit the subscribe button. That helps so much and it makes me feel so good. Also, again, treasure hunting with Jeebus. I'm not even sure I remembered to put that in the video yesterday. I was so sick. But I still think it's very important. Their next stop is Mississippi. They flew out to LA and they're going all the way back across the country, back to home to Virginia. So it'll be interesting to see what city in Mississippi they end up in. I'm going to say Biloxi, but I could be wrong. So, um, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Um, God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.